I deeply apologize. I don't care about what he did. Just when we thought we knew everything about the extraordinary life of Chadwick Boseman, Denzel Washington revealed something that left everyone speechless in an incredibly emotional moment. Washington unveiled the heartbreaking truth about Chadwick's final days, altering everything we thought we knew about him. This is not just a story about a movie star, but a story about resilience, courage, and the strength of the human spirit. Chadwick Boseman's childhood takes us back to a time before he became a household name. The story begins on the quiet streets of Anderson, South Carolina, where he was born and raised. This is where the first values and lessons were formed, laying the foundation that would help him rise to success later in life. His early days in Anderson marked the beginning of a journey to overcome adversity and become a legend, not only in the film industry, but also in the hearts of millions of fans. If you're curious and want to learn about the life and extraordinary journey of the late actor Chadwick Boseman, don't forget to hit like, share the video, and leave a comment below to let us know. Now, let's dive into this fascinating story together. Born on November 29, 1976, Chadwick Boseman entered the world surrounded by family and community. His parents, Carolyn and Leroy Boseman, were the foundation of his life. Carolyn, a nurse with a heart full of compassion, and Leroy, a factory worker with hands calloused from years of hard labor, were determined to instill in their children the values of perseverance, humility, and a deep respect for storytelling. Growing up as the youngest in a family of 3 brothers, Chadwick learned the importance of family early on. His parents created a home filled with love and creativity, where every story and every conversation was a life lesson. The Boseman household wasn't just a place to eat and sleep, it was a sanctuary of knowledge. The bookshelves were filled with works on history, culture, and the lives of influential figures, especially those who fought for justice and equality. These books were not just decorations, they were the foundation that shaped Chadwick's worldview. One book, in particular, left an indelible mark on young Chadwick. The autobiography of Malcolm X wasn't just a book lying around, it was a prized possession of his older brother. When Chadwick was just 12 years old, he picked it up and delved into the life of a man who had faced the harsh realities of racial injustice. This book didn't just inform Chadwick, it transformed him. It opened his eyes to the struggles of people and planted the seeds for a lifelong commitment to justice and social equality. But Chadwick's world wasn't limited to the pages of books. He was a child of many talents, just as comfortable with a basketball in his hands as with a paintbrush. His artistic ability had shown itself from a young age. His parents recognized his potential and encouraged him to explore every creative outlet. Painting and sculpture were not just hobbies, they were expressions of a young soul grappling with the world around him. But it wasn't just art that captured Chadwick's imagination. He was a natural athlete, particularly drawn to basketball, a sport where his competitive spirit could truly shine. But even on the playing field, his true passion lay elsewhere. A passion that began to form when he watched his older brother Kevin, who was deeply passionate about dance and theater. Kevin was a performing artist, and Chadwick, sitting in the back of the theater with his mother, was mesmerized by the magic of storytelling. The power of a performance to move and inspire him took hold in his early years, shaping the path he would ultimately follow. Watching Kevin wasn't just entertainment. It was a masterclass in the transformative power of art. As Chadwick grew, His love for the stage and storytelling grew with him. His early experiences at home, surrounded by books and inspired by his brother's performances, laid the foundation for what would become his life's work. It was a nurturing environment where creativity was not only encouraged but celebrated, where every story read or heard became a stepping stone to understanding the world and his place in it. The small town of Anderson seemed distant from the glamour and allure of Hollywood, but it was here that Chadwick Boseman's journey began. It was within this close-knit community, under the guidance of loving parents and the influence of an inspiring older brother, that the seeds for his future greatness were planted. As he entered his teenage years, Chadwick faced the typical challenges of high school, but with his unique combination of talent in both sports and the arts, he navigated those years with a clear purpose. He stood out on the basketball court, but even then, his heart was set on something deeper. The arts were calling, and Chadwick was ready to answer. High school was a time for growth and exploration for him. He continued to excel in sports, but couldn't ignore his creative side. He became increasingly drawn to the arts, participating in school plays and writing his own stories. During these years, a tragic event further shaped his path when a close friend was shot and killed. Chadwick channeled his grief into writing a play titled Crossroads, which he also performed. This wasn't just a high school project. It was a cathartic experience that solidified his desire to pursue a career in storytelling, using the stage as a platform to explore and express the complexities of life. After high school, Chadwick's journey led him to Howard University, a place that would play a pivotal role in his development as an artist. Howard wasn't just a school, it was a community of like-minded individuals who shared his passion for the arts and his commitment to social justice. Here, Chadwick majored in directing, a choice that reflected his deep interest in understanding every aspect of storytelling, from written text to performance on stage or screen. At Howard, Chadwick found a mentor in the esteemed actress and director Phylicia Rashad. Rashad recognized Chadwick's talent and potential, taking him under her wing and guiding him through the complexities of the profession. She not only taught him about acting and directing, but also instilled in him the importance of integrity and authenticity in his work. Under her mentorship, Chadwick thrived, participating in various performances that helped him sharpen his skills and gain a deeper understanding of the craft. One of the most important opportunities during Chadwick's time at Howard came when Rashad encouraged him and a few other students to apply for the summer acting program at the British Academy of Dramatic Art in Oxford. It was a prestigious opportunity, but for many students, including Chadwick, the financial burden was a significant obstacle. When Denzel Washington entered Hollywood, a giant with a heart as big as his talent, Phylicia Rashad turned to Washington for help, and he didn't hesitate. Quietly and without fanfare, Washington covered all the expenses for Chadwick and his classmates, allowing them to seize an opportunity that would otherwise have been out of reach. This gesture was not just financial support. It was a profound act that demonstrated his belief in the next generation of artists. For Chadwick, it was a life-changing experience, one that broadened his perspective and deepened his commitment to his craft. His time at Oxford, studying with some of the best in the field, was invaluable. It wasn't just about learning the technical aspects of acting. It was about immersing himself in the rich tradition of theater and exploring the depth of what storytelling could achieve. With his time at Howard and Oxford behind him, Chadwick was ready to conquer the world. His educational journey was one of discovery, growth, and continuous support from mentors who believed in his potential. It was a path that prepared him for the challenges and opportunities ahead, laying the foundation for a career that would leave an indelible mark on the world. The struggles and breakthroughs in his early career began when Chadwick Boseman left the familiar campus of Howard University and stepped onto the bustling streets of New York. He was a young man with big dreams but no knowledge of the challenges that lay ahead. New York, with its towering skyscrapers and relentless energy, was completely different from the supportive environment he had known as a student. Here, he was just another ambitious actor among many hoping to land an opportunity in a city that rarely stopped to notice freshly graduated students. Boseman threw himself into the hard work, moving through the audition rounds of the city with a mix of hope and determination. But the reality of trying to succeed in the entertainment industry soon became difficult. The auditions often ended with rejections from casting directors, who were looking for something, or someone, else. The roles that came his way were sometimes just small parts in shows, where he was simply another face in the crowd. But these small roles, while frustrating, were crucial. They taught him resilience, the kind of resilience that would prove invaluable in the years to come. Despite the setbacks, Chadwick was not one to give up easily. He knew that every small role, every rejection was a step forward, an opportunity to learn and improve. He took on guest roles in television shows like Third Watch and Law and Order, not glamorous, but necessary. These early performances were small victories in a larger battle. Each performance helped him build his craft piece by piece. He didn't wait for the big break. He prepared for it, honing his skills with every opportunity that came his way. But Chadwick's talent wasn't just limited to acting. He was, at his core, a storyteller, and theater provided him with a different canvas to explore his creativity. New York's vibrant theater scene was the perfect platform for him to express his voice, not only as an actor, but also as a writer and director. He wrote plays like Vivid Graffiti Paintings, delving deep into the experiences of African Americans, exploring themes of cultural identity and the fight for justice. These were not just stories for entertainment. They were reflections of the world he saw around him, a world still grappling with the legacy of racism and inequality. Chadwick's work in theater was not just a side project, it was an integral part of his artistry. The journey of the plays he wrote and the stories he told were deeply rooted in his heritage and the lessons he learned growing up. It was his way of speaking out about the experiences of his community, bringing their stories to the stage and, ultimately, to the screen through his writing and directing. Chadwick began carving out a space for himself in the industry, even as he still faced the daily grind of auditioning for smaller roles. Then came a turning point, a role that would change the trajectory of his career in 2008. Chadwick was cast in The Express, a sports biopic about the life of Ernie Davis, the first African-American to win the Heisman Trophy. While Chadwick's role in the film wasn't the lead, his portrayal of Floyd Little, a football player, was significant. Chadwick brought depth and emotion to the character, leaving a lasting impression on those who watched the film. The Express was not just another project. It was a sign that Hollywood was starting to take notice of his talent. The success of the film opened doors, but there was still a long way to go. Chadwick knew that the industry was fickle, that one role wasn't enough to secure his place, but the performance gave him something invaluable: exposure and credibility. That was the stepping stone to more opportunities and greater challenges as he continued to shape his career. Chadwick never lost touch with his roots in theater. He continued to write and produce plays, always returning to the themes that mattered most to him. His contributions to the stage were just as important to him as his work in front of the camera. The stage was where he honed his craft, where he could experiment and take risks that weren't always possible in film and television. After years of perseverance, the turning point came in 2013, and everything changed. Chadwick was cast as Jackie Robinson in the film 42, a role that would define his career and thrust him into the spotlight. Playing Robinson, the first African-American to break Major League Baseball's color barrier, was not just a job, it was a responsibility. Chadwick approached the role with the seriousness it deserved, immersing himself in Robinson's life, studying his style, his history, and the immense pressure he faced. This wasn't just acting, it was a tribute to a legacy. 42 was both a commercial and critical success, and Chadwick's portrayal of Robinson was hailed as powerful and moving by many. It was the first time audiences got to know Chadwick Boseman, and his performance left a lasting impression. Finally, Hollywood took notice, and there was no turning back. Success was just the beginning. Chadwick soon took on another iconic role, this time as James Brown in the 2014 film Get On Up. Playing James Brown was another challenge, requiring Chadwick to portray the larger-than-life soul music legend. It was a role that demanded both physical and emotional commitment, requiring him to master Brown's unique dance style and singing while capturing the complex personality of the man behind the music. Chadwick immersed himself in the role with the same dedication he demonstrated in 42. He studied James Brown's performance, his voice, his movements, and the tumultuous life that shaped him. The result was a performance full of energy and intensity. Get On Up wasn't just a film, it was a showcase of Chadwick's incredible acting range. As an actor, he seamlessly transitioned from playing a sports hero to embodying a music legend. Each role took him to new heights. The critical acclaim following Get On Up solidified Chadwick's standing in Hollywood. He was no longer just an actor. He had become a star known for his ability to portray complex historical figures. His authenticity and the respect he earned from the industry acknowledged his talent, and soon, offers for more significant roles began pouring in. As Chadwick's career continued to soar, these roles laid the foundation for what was to come. They proved that he could carry a film and bring depth and humanity to characters who had shaped the history of America. These performances were not just milestones in his career, but tributes to the lives and legacies of Jackie Robinson and James Brown, told through the eyes of an actor who truly understood the weight of their stories. The early struggles, the rejections, and the supporting roles were all steps leading to this moment. Chadwick Boseman had arrived not just as an actor, but as a force in Hollywood, ready to take on whatever came next. His journey wasn't over, but the path was now clear, and the world was beginning to see the full extent of his talent. Looking back at the early years of Chadwick's career, it's clear that every hardship, every setback was a crucial part of the journey from audition rooms to the bright lights of Hollywood. Chadwick Boseman's story is one of perseverance, talent, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. He was just getting started, but he had already made an indelible mark on the world. Black Panther and T'Challa. When Chadwick Boseman was cast as the iconic Black Panther, it wasn't just another casting decision in Hollywood. This moment marked the beginning of something extraordinary. A role that not only defined Boseman's career, but also reshaped the landscape of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Studios had been searching for the right actor to bring T'Challa to life, someone who could embody the strength, intellect, and nobility of the character. With his deep purpose and quiet intensity, Chadwick was the perfect choice. The casting process for T'Challa was not simple. Marvel needed an actor who could bear the responsibility of being the first black superhero with his own standalone film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. This role was not only a breakthrough for the film, but also a symbol of representation, a beacon for African Americans who had long been underrepresented in the superhero genre. Chadwick's previous works, particularly his roles as Jackie Robinson and James Brown, demonstrated his ability to bring historical and complex characters to life with grace and depth. Marvel knew they had found their T'Challa in him, but Chadwick understood the importance of this role beyond the screen. He knew that T'Challa was not just a character, he was a cultural milestone. Taking on the role of T'Challa meant more than delivering lines and performing stunts. It meant carrying the hopes and dreams of millions who longed to see themselves reflected in a superhero for the first time. For Chadwick, this role was an opportunity to showcase the excellence of African people, to tell a story that honored black culture and history in a way that had never been done before in Hollywood. When Black Panther was released in 2018, it became an instant global phenomenon. The film not only shattered box office records, but also broke long-standing stereotypes and misconceptions about black films. Audiences worldwide were captivated by the story of Wakanda, a technologically advanced African nation hidden from the world, and by T'Challa, its wise and courageous king. But the impact of the film went far beyond financial success. Black Panther became a cultural movement, a celebration of African identity and heritage, resonating deeply with people everywhere, especially African Americans. For so many, Black Panther was not just a film, it was a symbol of empowerment. The movie presented a powerful narrative that challenged the conventional depictions of Africa and its people in mainstream media. It portrayed a vision of a world where black people are not just sidekicks or villains, but heroes and leaders shaping their own destinies. The success of Black Panther sent a clear message that representation matters, and when done right, it can change the world. At the heart of Black Panther was Chadwick Boseman's unwavering commitment to ensuring that T'Challa was a true representation of African culture. One of the most important decisions he made was insisting that T'Challa speak with an African accent. For Chadwick, this was not just a stylistic choice, but a matter of integrity. He believed that having T'Challa speak with an American or British accent would diminish the authenticity of the character and the cultural roots of Wakanda. Marvel initially opposed this idea, concerned that the African accent might alienate audiences, but Chadwick remained steadfast. He knew that T'Challa's voice needed to reflect his heritage, the identity of an African king. It was not just about authenticity. It was about respect. Respect for the character, for the culture, and for the people who would see themselves in T'Challa. Chadwick's perseverance paid off. His voice became a defining feature of T'Challa's character, adding a richness and depth that resonated with audiences around the world. This commitment to authenticity wasn't limited to T'Challa's voice. Throughout his career, Chadwick was dedicated to telling stories that honored and uplifted African American culture, whether he was portraying real-life figures like Jackie Robinson or fictional characters like T'Challa. He approached every role with the same level of care and respect. He understood the power of representation, not just in terms of visibility, but also in terms of accuracy and truth. Chadwick's work was always about more than just achieving success. It was about making a statement by creating art that could inspire and empower. But even as Chadwick's star rose to global heights, he remained incredibly private, a man who carefully protected his personal life. His fame never seemed to change him, as he continued to live by the values instilled in him from a young age: humility, integrity, and a commitment to using his platform for a greater good. While the world knew him as T'Challa, Black Panther, Chadwick kept his personal life away from the spotlight, choosing to focus on his work and causes that mattered to him. One of the most important relationships in Chadwick's life was with Taylor Simone Ledward, the woman who would later become his wife. The two shared a deep connection, one they kept private for many years. Their relationship was built on love and mutual respect, and they chose to live their lives away from the prying eyes of the media. In 2019, they quietly married, a decision that reflected Chadwick's desire to keep the most important parts of his life private and sacred. Chadwick's commitment to giving back was another defining aspect of his character. Despite his busy schedule and the demands of his career, he always made time to support causes close to his heart. Education and healthcare were two areas where he made a significant impact. He understood the importance of providing opportunities for the next generation, especially for young Black Americans facing the same challenges he had overcome. Whether through scholarship donations or simply showing up to support community events, Chadwick was always ready to lend a hand. His philanthropy wasn't just about writing checks. It was about making a real difference in the lives of others. He understood that his success was not just his own, but the result of the support he received from mentors, family, and friends along the way. And he was determined to give back by using his influence to create opportunities for others. Chadwick's generosity was as much a part of his legacy as his acting. It reflected the values he cherished, values that guided him both on and off the screen. His secret battle with colon cancer began in 2016. Chadwick Boseman received a diagnosis that would change his life: stage 3 colon cancer. It was the kind of news that could bring anyone to their knees, but Chadwick remained resilient. He chose a different path. Rather than letting the diagnosis define him, he made the bold decision to keep it a secret, telling only his closest family members. Even those who worked closely with him in Hollywood, spending countless hours on set with him, had no idea. This was Chadwick's battle, and he fought it with silent strength, which speaks volumes. If you found this story interesting and want to learn more about the life of the Black Panther legend, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, leave a comment with the number 0. Now, let's continue this story. As the world continued to celebrate his rise to stardom, no one could have guessed the immense struggle he was enduring behind the scenes. The man who portrayed a superhero on screen was fighting a very real and personal battle against a deadly disease. But despite the physical toll that chemotherapy and multiple surgeries took on his body, Chadwick never allowed it to affect his work. He approached each role with the same intensity and dedication that had defined his career. Never allowing anything to be a mistake. It's hard to imagine the strength required to maintain such a grueling work schedule while fighting cancer. Roles like T'Challa in Black Panther demanded physicality, requiring Chadwick to undergo intense training and perform stunts that challenged even the healthiest of actors. But Chadwick was determined that he wasn't just playing a superhero, he was living like one, enduring pain and exhaustion. He showed up every day, ready to give his all, because he knew how much these roles meant, not only to him, but to millions of fans around the world. Chadwick's decision to keep his illness private wasn't to avoid the world, but to focus on what mattered most to him: his work, his legacy, and the impact he could make while he still had time. He didn't want sympathy or special treatment. He wanted to be remembered for the strength of his acting, not for the battle he was fighting off-screen. So he pressed forward, carrying the weight of his illness with a grace and determination that few could match. As the years passed and his condition worsened, Chadwick continued undeterred by the challenges. He filmed some of his most iconic roles during this time, including his performances in Marshall, Da 5 Bloods, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Each of these films demanded immense energy and focus, but Chadwick never faltered. His co-stars and directors were amazed by his dedication, completely unaware of the immense pain he was enduring. To them, he was simply the perfect professional, always prepared and always giving 110%. It wasn't until his passing in August 2020 that the world learned the truth about Chadwick's battle with cancer. The revelation was shocking and hard to believe, but it also came with a profound sense of admiration. This was a man who faced unimaginable challenges with unwavering courage, who continued to inspire and uplift others, even as he fought for his own life. The news of his illness only made his performances more poignant and powerful. One of the most moving tributes came from Denzel Washington, who had mentored and supported Chadwick throughout his career. Washington spoke about Chadwick's incredible strength, praising him not only for his talent, but for the bravery he showed in his final days. He lived a full life, and as Washington said, he did so much without anyone ever knowing how much he endured. For Washington, Chadwick was not only a phenomenal actor, he was a true warrior. Someone who faced adversity with dignity and will be remembered for generations. But Chadwick's strength was not only evident in his work, it was also reflected in his interactions with others, especially during his visits to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Even while battling cancer, Chadwick took time to visit children fighting their own battles with the disease. These visits weren't just quick photo ops. They were genuine moments when Chadwick connected with the children on a deep, personal level. The kids at St. Jude didn't see Chadwick as a movie star. They saw him as a hero, someone who truly understood what they were going through. He would spend hours talking with them, listening to their stories, and offering words of encouragement to these brave children. Chadwick's visits were a bright spot in their challenging lives. He brought them hope, not just through the characters on screen, but through his genuine kindness and empathy. The impact of these visits went beyond the hospital walls. For the families and staff at St. Jude, Chadwick's presence was a reminder of the power of compassion, of how one act of kindness can make a difference in the world. Even in his own painful moments, Chadwick thought of others, using his platform to bring comfort and joy to those who needed it most. Chadwick Boseman's legacy of compassion is just as important as the achievements he showcased on screen. What does it mean to live with purpose? It means using whatever time we have to make a difference in the lives of others. His visits to St. Jude, his dedication to his craft, and his silent battle with cancer all speak to a man who truly understood the real meaning of strength. Chadwick's life is a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the lasting impact of a kind heart. Denzel's final words about Boseman, when he spoke about Chadwick's final days, were a moment that left everyone silent in awe. Known for his calm demeanor, Washington revealed to the world what most of us had hidden: the extraordinary silent battle Chadwick fought. His usual steady voice carried an emotional weight that was impossible to ignore as he shared the truth about Chadwick's last days. It was clear that this was not just a tribute, but a window into the deep respect and admiration he had for a man who had become like a brother to him. Washington didn't just speak of Chadwick as an actor. He spoke of him as a person, a man who faced his own death with a grace and strength that few could understand. He described how, despite the pain and exhaustion from illness, Chadwick never showed it on set. He worked tirelessly to deliver performances stronger than ever, even while his body was fighting a battle that no one else could see. Washington's words painted a picture of a man determined to fulfill his purpose, no matter the cost. As Washington continued, the gravity of his words began to sink in. The world knew Chadwick Boseman as a powerful, charismatic figure who brought iconic characters to life. But now we are learning just how deep that strength truly was. The fact that Chadwick had to battle colon cancer on stage while filming some of the toughest roles of his career is nothing short of remarkable. Not only did he continue working, but he did so with a level of dedication and professionalism that few could match under such circumstances. This new information suddenly changes everything. Every scene, every moment we watched on screen now carries a new meaning. The strength and determination we admired in his characters were not just performances. They were real. Chadwick didn't just act. He conveyed his own battle, his own will to keep going despite all odds. It's clear that Chadwick Boseman's greatest role was not T'Challa or James Brown, but the role he played in his own life as a man who refused to let his illness define him. Washington's depiction of the devil in Revelation is profound, forcing the public to reassess everything we thought we knew about Chadwick Boseman. His legacy, already impressive, now carries an almost legendary quality. This was a man who quietly endured unimaginable pain, doing so with a determination that even his closest friends found astonishing. Chadwick's decision to keep his illness private wasn't to conceal it, but to take control. He wanted to be remembered for his work, for the stories he told, not for the illness that tried but ultimately couldn't defeat him. Washington's tribute was more than just a farewell. It was a call to recognize the true depth of Chadwick Boseman's courage. It highlighted how Chadwick transformed what could have been a tragic story into one of triumph. He gave the world everything he had until his final moments, and in doing so, he set a standard of bravery that continues to inspire generations to come. Chadwick Boseman's legacy is not only about the roles he played, but also about the impact he made on the world, an impact that is still being felt in Hollywood and beyond. The way he portrayed characters like T'Challa in Black Panther was not only entertaining, but also inspiring. These roles showed a new generation of black actors that they, too, could be heroes, that their stories were worthy of being told on the biggest stages. Chadwick's work has become the blueprint for how Hollywood can and should tell stories about black lives with dignity, authenticity, and respect. The influence of Chadwick's career can be seen in how Hollywood is gradually beginning to embrace more diverse voices and stories. His roles pushed the industry forward, challenging outdated norms and opening doors for future generations of black actors. However, Chadwick's impact wasn't limited to the screen. His life off-screen was just as influential, particularly in the fields of education and philanthropy. After his passing, many scholarships and grants were established in his name, reflecting his dedication to giving back. Chadwick always understood the importance of education. After all, it was through a scholarship that he was able to attend Oxford's summer acting program, thanks to the generosity of Denzel Washington. Today, through these scholarships, Chadwick's legacy continues to empower young artists, providing them with the opportunities they need to follow in his footsteps. But Chadwick's legacy is not just about education or the roles he took on. It's also about what he represented. He became a cultural icon, a symbol of strength, resilience, and excellence for many. Chadwick Boseman embodied the meaning of rising above adversity to stand firm in the face of challenges, doing so with grace and humility. His work, especially in Black Panther, had a lasting impact on the representation of African Americans in media, offering a powerful counter-narrative to the long-standing stereotypes that have plagued Hollywood. Chadwick Boseman's influence will be felt for generations to come. He not only entertained but also changed the way people view themselves and their potential. His legacy is an inspiration, a reminder that greatness is not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it, through hard work, compassion, and his incredible personal strength. Chadwick Boseman ensured that his name would live on, not only as a great actor, but as a true hero. If you find the story of Chadwick Boseman and his extraordinary resilience truly moving, don't forget to like, share, and leave your comment below this video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any inspiring stories and interesting content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.